Welcome back and thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. We're happy that you could join us with your thoughts and comments as well. Keep them coming in thick and fast. The hashtag is TV3Newday, and I've seen the hashtag also on Johnny's Bite. We're grateful. Thank you to Grandpa Clothing and Dan Soman for my outfit. Call them 020-985-5696. Again, 020-985-5696. Happy birthday to Mr. Joseph Abaka, aka Commander One. He is a member of the NDC Central Regional Directorate of Elections in charge of monitoring and evaluation. It's your birthday today. Also, a happy birthday to Nanaya Esiedua. This is from your dad, Pablo. Happy birthday also to Queen Sel of Adenta constituency. May this birthday bring you countless blessings. Have a marvelous happy birthday. This is from Mr. RW. And also belated one to Bernice Akologo, Head of Marketing at Metro Mass Transit and CEO of Be Nice Dishes. May the good Lord himself keep you. And this is from Siwa Nso, Akapari, Akofa Ukujeto, the Labix, and the entire family. Happy birthday. And congratulations to Bellamundi. Over the weekend, we had a BU conference. And also to Nanaya Osei Dakwa of the Green Republic for a fantastic display of commitment towards reconciling man with nature, planting more trees, improving the quality of air, improving our rainfall patterns, and also making sure that we are living healthy and happy. Happy birthday also to Reverend Father Emmanuel Obed Kwao, Assistant Priest of St. Andrew Anglican Church, and this from Elkanah Stanley Saki. Shabaya. That's how we call you. Happy birthday if it's your birthday as well. My guest this morning governs Kwame Agboja. He is an architect. He is also the member of parliament for the Adaklu constituency. I call him the Adaklu Messiah. It's been a long time since he got here. So he's joined us here today on the ticket of the NDC. And then lawyer Andrew Ejapa Mesa. He is the MP for Sekunde, and his folks call him Bobo. He's a Deputy Minister for Energy, and he will tell you he's still loyal. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Sharp.
Let me say good morning to my good friend, Govans, and to our cherished viewers this morning. And since you are already extending birthday greetings,
right,
I think it's appropriate that
please go ahead.
I extend one to my son, James. Okay. He turned 11 yesterday. Belated birthday greetings to you.
He has the birthday with my big sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yesterday, Harriet Theresa Hughes, a.k.a. Davida McDanuta. Yesterday was her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Harriet. Ikia Gaga, we call her that as well. And Nanaya Osei also had his birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to you, Anyami. Live long. Yeah. Office, welcome. How are you doing?
Not bad.
How's the holy city of Adaklu doing?
Adaklu is doing very well by the grace of God. I want to take the opportunity to thank you for inviting me once again, and to thank my very good friend. He's very busy running government, so we don't meet that often these days, but I'm sure we'll be meeting more often.
Right.
And just to thank your platform for your commitment to paying attention to issues in Adaklu as well. We appreciate that a lot, and I'm sure a host of them watch you, so you are a source of information to our community, and we are grateful.
Those speed ramps, the dangerous ones, the self-constructed speed ramps by the people, they are my only worry then now, because you've been able to bring the road to a certain standard and all of that, but the speed ramps.
Well, the speed ramps start from Sigi, actually, and so it's not unique to Adaklu, but I understand we shouldn't encourage individuals or communities to be constructing their own speed ramps, because in the first place, it is never up to the standard of the road agencies.
Right.
They are never labeled appropriately to warn drivers ahead of time. They are a source of some road crashes which we can prevent.
Right.
But then the flip side is that the road agencies ought to be doing the right thing by installing these speed ramps whenever the roads are constructed. I've witnessed two situations in Adaklu, I think 2012, 2013, where young kids' lives were terminated because of speeding vehicle, one through Womenu. And since then, they have decided to construct. We sent memos, and I even offered to pay for the construction of the speed ramp. But you see, it has to go through a process. So it's both sides need to work together. But for the communities, it's about life and death.
Right.
When this morning, kids are trying to cross over from one side of the community to the other side to go to school. And imagine if you're a parent and just to hear people screaming, and I mean, you don't want to hear exactly. So why it's easy for us driving from another part of the country to see those things as nuisance, to some people, it's about life and death. And the solution is not with the community. The solution is with the road agencies to install the appropriate safety measures within the towns to be able to give us.
You're a ranking member, deputy ranking member, or ranking member.
I'm the ranking member.
Ranking member on roads and highways,
yes,
roads
and
committee,
transport,
and transport committee in Parliament. Has this matter come before your committee? What's the commitment?
Well, I don't see a situation where government says we won't do it. I see a situation where some of the roads were constructed long ago. It's not an active project. So there has to be a new budget line to be able to install those things. And I don't even think that should be a decision from Accra. Every road falls within a regional directorate of highways, feeder roads, and other things, and even sometimes municipal engineer's office. I can't understand why maybe 20, 30 bags of cement, a trip of chippings and sand will be more than what a district or a region can afford to just install appropriate speed ramp and label it appropriately to warn the motorists, and also to give comfort to citizens of those communities that drivers will slow down appropriately in those areas. So I think I see an opportunity for all of us to do better, both the state led by the institutions and communities working together to be able to improve safety on our road, because the statistics are not something you and I are happy about.
That's right. Bobo, you have a word?
Well, I guess that he said it all. I mean, people taking the law into their own hands and constructing some of these ramps, which are not essentially fit for purpose, is something that should be discouraged. And yes, I think that the youth assemblies and the regions ought to do more to ensure that we do not wait always for the center to provide funding for these things. I'm sure that within their budgets, they should be able to construct appropriate speed ramps for communities that feel threatened with speeding vehicles. And of course, they most often tend to construct these things after a series of accidents, if you like, which they feel that because government hasn't done the speed ramps, they then ought to take their destiny into their own hands and do these things. But of course, there has to be safety on the road.
That's right.
Both to road users, that is to say, people who drive their vehicles, and also the communities that these roads pass through. And so it's not a one-sided issue. It has to be mutual. So yes, by all means, local authority should be involved more in these things to ensure that we have safety on our roads.
Thank you. Well, let's go back to a conversation I had last week with the Ahoys and the Dujemfi siblings of house number D13, South Ntreso. That book launch would happen on the 14th of June, I should say, at 3 p.m. at the Ghana Academy for Arts and Sciences. But the then Secretary for Fuel and Power under the PNDC, Mr. Ato Ahoy, had this to say about rural electrification. They had a target to achieve that by 2020, to have the whole country connected onto a certain grid. We missed that target. But what did he say?
I'm very happy.
Why? That's strange.
I'm happy that because even though we missed the target of 2020, by the time I was leaving the ministry, a fairly good percentage of the country had access to electricity. And later on, it became a competition amongst the various chiefs, and then also a competition amongst political parties. Every political abandoned by successive governments. They continued with it, and it caught on very well. When we moved in and were doing this rural electrification, we realized that we needed a timetable. So we had an electrification program whereby each and every town was slated for a particular date for which they will get electricity.
Okay.
And we also said that if you wanted to jump that queue, then you must provide your poles. If you provide your electricity poles, then we will bring you the what we call the electricity wire, and then the transformers.
Okay.
And this became one of the most interesting things that I've ever witnessed.
Interesting.
You go to a village, and the people want to distribute the chief because he hasn't brought electricity to the village. Meanwhile, a small village next door has got electricity. And it went on very well. After that, we decided that if we are sending electricity to all these villages, what about the people whose houses and whose villages were inundated by the lake, the formation of the lake?
Right.
Like towns like Ketekrachi and the rest. The original Ketekrachi is underneath the lake. So we had to come in with a program whereby we could give these towns also access to electricity.
Okay. Now the conversation about access to electricity also comes with pricing. Recently, we've had the ECG go to PURC to say we want to increase the tariff so that we can serve you better. What do you say?
You see, when you move into party politics, people want to take popular decisions. I served under a military regime where we had no time for popular decisions. We had time for practical decisions. So in those days, the problems that we are facing now were not there. Because if the PNDC decided that electricity tariff should be this, that was it.
End of story.
End of story.
No debate.
Not today. Today, you go to parliament and talk and nothing will happen.
I see.
You have to go to PURC, who would then determine for the producer or the generator of the electricity what.
So that's Mr. John Atu Ahoy. Yeah, it's the firstborn of the Ahoys. Government, are we putting our money where our mouth is in terms of trying to get everybody have access to electricity in this country? You heard the old man.
Yes. Well, I must thank God for the life of Uncle Atu and his siblings. They've done a lot for our country and for our party. They have been a good source of reason and stability and everything in our party. And I pray to God to keep them healthy, especially Uncle Atu, to continue to impact that level of humility and national focus in many of us. I am looking forward to the book launch, and I think it's quite unique as well. And I will encourage all those who have the capability to do that, because ever so often people who have done things to influence other people's lives go away without any record of what they did. So for the family to put themselves together in a very nice way, siblings of the house number D13. I think a lot of things will come out up in that book that maybe we've never heard about them before. And I'm sure there are a number of families in this country who have have influenced our society one way or the other in similar ways that can document this. We might find things in those books that we all can learn from. With regard to one particular thing he talked about, and Saturday was June 4th, and I must pray to God and thank the life of President Rawlings, who is not here with us again. Love him or hate him, there wouldn't be a country, as far as some of us are concerned, there wouldn't be a country called Ghana today, or as it is now, without the sacrifices he made. Yes, you can talk about some of the excesses and other things, but those excesses, as far as I'm concerned, are far less than what I see today. When I see journalists murdered today in a democratic dispensation and nobody is being held accountable. How dare you tell me that any excess in at the revolution time is worse than this? It cannot be worse than this. This what happens today is worse than that. So I fully endorse whatever happened, because out of that, it was just like having a certain cancer. You either go through the painful treatment and be healed, or die with it. He chose a path that the country was sick, corruption, nepotism, underdevelopment, and took a bold step. A young man came on the stage. Yes, I mean, he stepped on people's toes. Current government, all of us, and MPs, ministers, step on bigger toes, dozen times. It doesn't make any difference. But out of that generation of leaders came up with one issue: electrification.
But before you get to electrification, there are also accounts of, even though the PNDC, NDC had come with probity, accountability, all of that, cases of corruption were recorded under the PNDC, NDC era.
Of course,
so you're preaching one thing, which will be the surgery for the cancer you spoke about, but then by the time you finish curing the cancer, you had also generated another cancer which we're dealing with.
Well, if you've ever had real sickness before, and let's say cancer, and then you needed to, I mean, my sister passed on with breast cancer a few months ago, and
that was the day you were kept in Parliament for the e-levy sake.
Exactly, and I am sure today, if she was alive and a doctor says we'll take off both of your breasts and you'll be alive with your children, I am sure her answer will be yes, do it. I'm likening that sadly to the situation you described. If it took President Rawlings and a host of young people to go take us through a process which was not always pleasant, yes, and to give us a country today that we can all be proud of, to build on, I think we can excuse ourselves and say, look, okay, we are sorry for the excesses. And he's never been somebody who said everything was right. And I don't remember any time that even when during his government, anybody was found to be doing something wrong, he defended him anyway. You remember people were even saying he was sacking people on radio and other things because he doesn't want to tolerate that. So it has never been a point in time where he tolerated this. So when it's about, because corruption was there and other things, the difference was that somebody took a decision and did, and all other governments before President Rawlings, the professors and everything that they instituted, what happened? They failed.
All electrification questions. See where you are going.
They failed.
Because the debate will be focused there.
Yes.
No, I will go back.
You think I won't respond?
I know you respond.
Let me tell you. Every other government, all those so-called intellectuals and everything that attempted to build this country based on their so-called theories failed, because it was never based on a true representation of our people. Okay. It took President Rawlings to do that. And I'm saying that one of the best things he did for us was to say that whilst electricity was enjoyed by only few, water was enjoyed by only few, roads by only few, he said that was a right to everybody. So let's extend electricity to everywhere.
But we missed the 2020 target.
Well, 2020 target, when you write an exam, and he knows better in the ministry. I've never been even a messenger.
Where you tick the boxes.
I've never been a messenger even at electricity corporation before. He serves at the ministry. When you give yourself a target that by 2020 you do 100% electrification,
right,
and I don't think there's any country in the world that is 100%. You may have some challenges, almost which he's a better place to explain to us. And you do 83, 84%. When you write exam and you're 84%, can you tell yourself you've done badly? If my daughter comes home with 84% in an exam, I will be quite a high-handed father to say you could have gotten 100. Adaklu is probably 85%, 95% electricity coverage.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. I mean, and many places like that. And the reason we can't achieve 100% easily, like I say, I'm not well placed. He can explain to us. So I don't think Uncle Ato is saying we have failed. We gave ourselves target. And the reason is always good, even in your own individual lives, to give yourself target is to have a reason to work, to know whether you are working harder or not. Anybody who sets out, when if they give birth to you, you know that you live maybe active life,
Right.
60 something.
Right.
If you don't even have a plan when you're going to start school, when you're going to finish school, get a job, get a house, marry, have some children, be able to raise them, let them be something before you leave this earth, then you are not going to be able to do something. That is one way you will be 70 years and be doing wedding. And when you are 70 years and you do wedding, are you actually intending to have children and look after them? So it is good to have a target. So I don't think Ghanaians should be sad that we haven't achieved the target. 80-something% target electricity coverage is good. We could build on it and get it better.
But then again, looking at all the investments we have made over time, in that direction, there's a clear plan to afford people who wanted electricity an opportunity to say, if you wanted to jump the queue, bring your own poles, foot a bit of the bill. But we had a template, we had a schedule, we had a list, a timetable. How would we miss it if we had a timetable? We had all the investments, we were collecting money. For example, if you pay your bill today for electricity, there's a 1% on street lighting. And yet, most of our street lights are either not functional or we don't have street lights at all. If you're driving towards the Volta region, all the way from the Central University place, all the way up, no street lights. But they all pay the 1% street lights.
In fact, even the communities that don't, enjoy many of the things, they don't have any street light, get to pay for it. In fact, I even filed a question in Parliament. I think Honorable Mewu hasn't said a question some time ago, at the time he was there. And it was quite a huge amount of money that they take on, street lighting and things like that. But the truth is that the ministry regularly procure large sums of large numbers of street lights. As of the program, as to how they install it and maintain it is a different matter. But the issue is our communities are better connected today to the national grid than they were before. You could say that part of the reason we missed the target was because, you see, managing a country has become complex and leaders make choices. Maybe somebody would have said that paying $25 million Ghana cedi to build a cathedral at this time would have used that part of that money to do better electrification or other things. I would have said, yes, then don't do that. But there's a government who says that the most important thing, they call it the priority of priorities, is to build a cathedral. So it's a choice. President Rawlings, PNDC, NDC decided rural electrification. And let me correct something.
Quickly.
That issue about people building their, molding their poles and other thing even took place in parts of Adaklu. But today, that we were calling it self-help electrification project. Today,
SHEP.
Nobody molds his own concrete poles. Most communities don't buy their own timber poles. The government have taken it. So I've always asked the question, what is self-help about this? Because you're not paying anything. Government is doing everything. Perhaps because government have taken over the total responsibility to extend this electricity, it has become something that the burden on government is bigger. But even that, I am sure to do 83% is good. Could we have done better? We could, but I'm told that some challenges. That is why I still
Could we have done better with solar? And that's my final question to you before I come to Bobo. With solar. The sun is burning all of us.
No.
Are we harvesting the sun to light up the country?
I had an opportunity to speak to somebody who has got good knowledge and interest in solar. He told me point blank that as far as he's concerned, in fact, even the 2 megawatts and whatever we have done so far, they are not fit for purpose because the quality of solar panels and installation we are installing in this country makes it so that we are never able to derive the real capacity we wanted from that. I was surprised.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. In fact, it's one of the things I'm going to do tomorrow morning in Parliament to file a question to get a better understanding as to whether we are actually getting, whether it's just a matter of planting. I'm told the solar panels planted on top of Flagstaff House, some people call it Jubilee House, don't generate much to do anything.
They don't?
I'm told. That's what I'm told.
But then we were told by the government that we'll go solar, I think in 2020 or 2021, at the Jubilee House particularly.
I'm told it's got to do with the quality of solar panels in this country. So if it's the quality, maybe we need to be considering getting better qualities to harness the electricity.
I hear you.
I'm not saying it is the fact. That is why I want to ask the question. Maybe, as my good
So
friend
you
is
get
here,
the
maybe
answers.
he can volunteer an information.
Bobo, step in for me. I know that you want to
I was
respond to some
hoping-
of the key issues he
I
raised
was
earlier.
hoping we were going to have a really good discussion on the tape that you played.
Right.
With respect to what Mr.
Atuahwe.
Atuahwe had
John
said
Atuahwe.
relative to the extent of electricity coverage in our country. Indeed, he himself admitted that he was happy that successive governments had proceeded with the plan of expanding electricity access to our people. And so I was hoping that we're going to focus on that and see where we are, because as we speak, we have about 86.7% electricity coverage. Universal access is 90%, so we're not far off from there. But I'm scandalized
Why?
by the attempt of my good friend to sit here this morning to justify June 4th and to draw parallels with instances that have taken place in the recent past. He cites the example of Ahmed Swale without mentioning the name, because he is the journalist that has been murdered. Unfortunate. I sympathize with his family. I do not wish for any such event to occasion anybody. But he makes it look as if that in a society such as ours, it is under the Akufo-Addo administration today, because that's what he says. He sees worse things than the atrocities of June 4th.
You disagree?
He forgets George Abanga of 2015. Was a journalist, right? Mr. Mahama was president. He was murdered. J.B. Dankwe-Du, sitting member of parliament, was murdered when Mr. Mahama was president. Those were not excesses that were worse than June 4th. Is that what he's trying to tell us? Look, I'm sure you've read that. No, please, I'm not equalizing. I'm only drawing his attention to facts. I admit that Ahmed Swale should not have been murdered under the circumstances under which he died. And the police ought to, of necessity, bring closure to that matter. I'm sure you are very much familiar with the history of this country. And people have said that the worst form of democracy is better than the military dictatorship that we experienced in the past. So, governors, please, don't bruise people's wounds this morning. Because the June 4th experience was not pleasant.
There was nothing good about it.
What was good about it?
You tell me. That's what you're suggesting, that there was nothing good about it.
Indeed. Former President Rawlings himself, after his so-called house cleaning exercise, reverted to a democratic system of governance. No? No. Go to our markets and ask how our market women, our mothers, were treated during the so-called June 4th uprising cleanup. People's families.
Different from what happened at Abu Bloshi not too long ago.
People were stripped naked in Abu Bloshi.
Different,
and shipped in their private parts.
Different from what
I'm asking you.
Different from what you see in the news today.
People were stripped naked and shipped.
Do you have
market
to be
women
naked?
were stripped, laid bare, broad daylight.
What about military shooting, killing 7 people during an election?
You see,
is that not worse than that?
You see,
allow him, governors, please.
You see,
in 2020, 7 young people shot dead.
Allow him
in daylight.
Governors, please allow Bobo.
Getting stripped naked is worse than getting shot at a polling station? Is that what you want to say?
Okay.
You want to justify that
Okay.
one?
Hold
Justify
on.
it. Let's go.
Hold on, please. Let's make progress for me.
You see,
Can you hold your horses?
It's unfortunate the route that you want to take this morning. I haven't justified any killing of
I
any
never justified.
individual. You
excess. No, I said the excess. The President Rollins himself.
Look.
Did not like it.
Kwame, allow.
But you
Bobo.
say
Yes.
that you see worse today,
Oh yes.
and so we should go back.
No.
So what was the purpose of that?
We were thinking of doing
that-
better.
The reference.
I wasn't expecting seven
somebody
people to be
just
shot
sent
at
me a
police
message.
station.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Now, shocked at the comment that you making.
That
Does this guy know what he's talking about?
Yes.
God forgive
Yes.
us.
No. You gave an example of women stripped naked. That
You
is
see-
appalling. And I'm saying that same individual who sent you this message, how proud is he or she of seeing 7 of our compatriots shot at a polling station, not during the revolution? How can you not tell me that this is the worst,
Okay.
or it's worse than
Okay.
being stripped
Kwame,
naked?
your point is made. I think you should allow Bobo
can
to also
go back
ventilate this. Thank you very much.
To all our elections from 1992 to date.
Are we getting better or worse?
I'm not. Look, of course, I'm not in a position to make comparisons
I
because
will.
every situation, okay, will lead to a certain response.
But are we getting better or worse?
As a country, I think
Yes.
we are getting better.
We are.
Of course, these unfortunate incidents notwithstanding, okay, and so to sit and
But Bobo,
justify-
sorry, how would you compare a military rule? For example, Mr. Ahoy says that he worked under a military government and they had no time for popular decisions. They had time for practical decisions. Today we talk because we have democracy and all of that. How would you put a military government or a dictatorship and a democratic government on the same pedestal such that if people were killed in the past under a military regime, people were whipped publicly and dressed in the past under military regime, and we say we are going for democracy, and at the place where we want to re-engineer democracy, a polling station, people are shot and killed. A Jura military man kneels down, aims and shoots. I think that's where Kwame is going, that we have come from a bitter past.
You see,
now we are in a good place with democracy, and this is where we are.
basic Google search on electoral violence in Ghana, none justified. I'm not going to sit here and justify a Jura or any other electoral violence that has taken place.
Right.
But to
Ejura is not
suggest-
the electoral violence, by the way.
Which one was it?
Ejura is not the electoral violence.
That's the one that you said. The police,
yes.
That's the Kaka one.
That's
right?
the Mohammed Kaka.
All
yeah.
of it. Of course, you get people who are overzealous in responding to some rioting situation, and in order to bring the situation down, fire instead of warning shots indirectly, and those people ought necessarily be held to account. I do not have any qualms with that position at all. Okay, but I do not even want to believe that a member of parliament who is a participant in this democracy that we have would justify a military rule or coup d'etat that ruined lives and families. And to say that because some incidents that he disagrees with, which is appalling to all of us today, in his view, is worse than the June 4th revolution. In a sense, that was justified.
That's his opinion. What is
That's
yours?
why I'm surprised.
What is your opinion? That
Military coup
after
regime?
1979, 81, we moved on to democracy in 1993.
You don't even, you cannot begin to imagine the bold growth steps that this country has taken in the past 30 years. Indeed, my good friend Asibebo was telling me a couple of months ago that Ghanaians don't seem to realize where we have come from in the period where our budget was a 15-pager to today, where we have
a whole booklet.
Thank you very much.
So it's
So
about the
because-
volume of the book.
No, it's not. But it tells you the level of growth that this country has gone in.
But how is it translated in the lives of the people?
But of course, it's translated into the lives of the people, except that, yes, our population has grown. A lot more people have been empowered. A lot more people have not been empowered.
But our resource
And it is-
portfolio has
but of
increased
course,
as well.
Our resource portfolio has increased.
So
And
so
that's
how
why-
does the person who is not getting electricity now, and yet is being made to pay 1% for street lighting,
But
rural
if you do-
electrification, how do they benefit from,
if you do not
from
have
the national cake?
If you do not have electricity,
You wouldn't have him.
you wouldn't have a bill which would then make you pay 1%.
But then we
for starters.
but we are
I'm
paying but
saying
we are
that-
paying the bill to say there's a percentage for a rural electrification. Where does the money go
But
exactly?
the rural electrification is ongoing. Last Parliament, a couple of loan agreements were approved for expansion of electricity to various communities across the country. When Mr. Ahoy was speaking, he himself admitted that successive governments have continued with the program of expanding electricity
That's right.
to the entirety of our country.
That's right.
Indeed, only last week, government of Ghana signed a grant agreement with the AFDB, okay, for $85 million to build 35 mini grids and standalone solar PV systems in the island communities. Okay, because where we've gotten to, we're at a point where the last mile, okay, is the difficult to reach, and so you ought to employ alternative means to ensure that the remaining population who are not served
Right.
are brought on stream. And as a country, within the sub-region, and indeed Africa, if you look at the data, I think Ghana is about the second or third in terms of electricity access in the entirety of this continent.
Right.
Okay, we've done significantly well, attaining 86.7% as we speak. Okay.
What is the plan to reach 100?
Well, the plan to reach 100, His Excellency the President indicated when he delivered his State of the Nation address in 2022, where he said that his objective is to get to 100% by 2024. And we are working assiduously to ensure that that vision is achieved. We can only measure it at that point. But I'm saying that consistently over the years, electricity projects are being done across the country.
Are you able
expand access
to share
the users.
some knowledge or information regarding why we pay for 1% street light levy, and yet the street lights are not really where we want them to be? Or sometimes you find the poles, the bulb is there, but there's no light.
In fact, the Electricity Company of Ghana is even advocating for either an increase or a metering of all street lights. Okay, because they cannot quantify the volume of electricity that goes into public lighting.
Right.
And so then the 1% levy that is charged on our bill, in their view, is insufficient to meet the expenditure outlay that they incur in providing street lights. Okay, but consistently over the years, and I've been at the ministry for a little over under a year, I believe.
Right.
Okay, there's been street lights that are constantly being replaced when they, go out.
Right.
New ones are being installed
Right.
and all that. But you would hear, I'm sure, when the PURC comes out with their tariff review, that some adjustments are being made in terms of our tariff structure.
You support the
itself.
proposal to the PURC for tariffs to be increased?
They would have to do the assessment. I do not have a view with respect to whether
You are
ECG is
Deputy
justified.
Minister
No,
for Energy.
It doesn't matter.
You're a big man in the whole Ghana, like Buko Baku will say.
The work of determining the proposals and whether they should be applied or not is that of the Independent Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. And so let them do their work. We, as a ministry, my minister has advocated quite clearly that his vision is to make sure that the tariff rate is such that it spurs industrialization. Okay, and so the structure where you have a punitive mechanism inbuilt there, which is to say that the more you consume, the more you pay because your band changes.
Right.
He thinks that does not augur well for
Industrialization.
industrialization development. And so it is better for PURC to change the structure and make it flat so that regardless of the size of vehicle that you drive, when you go to the fuel station, you buy a liter of diesel or petrol for X price. That should be applied in electricity should be now. So I think that that will go a long way in helping.
We'll take a break, but first, should the ECG not be focused on illegal connections and collecting monies that are owed from them? There's a big musician who recently was caught because he was running his enterprise on illegal connection. ECG quickly moved on to install meters for the person and say, come and pay X amount of money, even though they couldn't tell us how they arrived at that figure, whether they could put a quantity to it. Now, so many government institutions and big corporations that owe ECG money, Ghana Water money, they are not retrieving the monies, they are not checking illegal connection, but every year they go and say, PRC, give us tariff increase. How do we put them in check so that we ensure that the people get value for money and they are not paying unduly for what is not their fault?
And so you realize that at every time when they go to PURC with some request, they do not get that request.
But PURC has never reduced tariffs before.
Well, PURC has in fact reduced tariffs in 2017.
They did?
Yes, by 17 and 30% for residential and industrial consumers respectively. So the point that I'm making,
because if you
the point that I'm making is
if you reduce by 17 whatever percent and then you come and ask for 200 and something, it's take with 100 give to another 100.
Asking for 200 and something doesn't mean that they're getting 200 and something. That process of determining how much they get is, as we speak, ongoing, and it includes their own level of service delivery. As part of the benchmarking that then makes PURC say that, look, rather than increase, go and collect. And indeed, in the past 6 months or so, they've set up a task force that is going out there aggressively retrieving and collecting.
So you support that view, that they should go and retrieve their monies, stop illegal connection before they come back to the table?
Well, it's not a chicken and egg situation. Okay, let the PURC evaluate the entirety of the issues, okay? And then if ECG deserves some increase, let them say so. If they deserve static tariff, let them say so. If they even deserve a reduction, okay, let them say so. But I'm saying that this is the work that the PURC has to do. And whatever that their conclusion is, would all then...
Ghanaians are in a hard place. What does the ministry say? Ghanaians are in a hard place in terms of how much we are earning, how much we are spending for some of these utilities.
You see,
they are not happy about this conversation about tariff increase. Has the ministry heard it? What do you say? Quickly, before we go for the break.
We've heard it. As a ministry, our role is to make sure that the electricity is available its own. It is for a good reason that an independent institution was set up to then regulate how tariffs are managed. And so we've made representations. Last week, at the stakeholder engagement, my minister spoke extensively on the issues that ECG had presented. Of course, we couldn't speak on Ghana Water because that's not within our domain.
That's right.
And we share after all, we are all consumers. I consume electricity at home.
Right.
I feel the pinch as well, okay? And so there has to be a balance, okay, in ensuring the sustainability of the utility and also what it is that they deliver vis-a-vis what the consumer is made to pay. Okay. And that work is being done. But you see, the talk that Ghanaians are feeling the pinch, we're just coming out of a pandemic. Unless, of course, you do not follow the international space and the challenges that every country is going through. Or that you want to pretend that, well, that's of no consequence.
But is the government putting a nail in their own coffin when Felicia Tete, for example, says that she was giving 100,000, 50,000 as
you did not even listen to the tape.
50,000 as
you did not.
Original.
I'm telling you as a matter of fact, because
MPs were giving, DCs were giving.
You did not even pay attention to the tape.
What is in the tape?
If somebody is giving money, how does that same person say that she submitted forms? Because that's what she said. She said that.
And what form? Which forms are those?
Let her respond. But I'm saying that the issue relative to whether she was giving money or not is borne out in the tape itself. No money was given to her.
No money was given.
No money. Not even a kobo.
So she was telling lies.
Because she herself said it.
Chief, Chief,
allow me.
put your hand on your chest.
Allow me,
you
please.
distributed tons of money in the constituency.
No
I
way.
saw your executives
That's not
distributing
true.
money
No,
for the election.
Hold on.
Yesterday was Sunday. You are building a cathedral.
Oh, of
because
course.
you believe in God.
I believe in
allow
God.
him, please.
And I was
Tell
telling
yourself that we are on television. Tell
I'm on
yourself that
television.
you did not distribute COVID money
I did not.
to your members
Nobody did.
to influence election.
Nobody did.
God,
But why would we give money to our members to influence them?
to influence the.
How?
You were supposed to.
How?
It was freebies.
These are our members.
Yes.
How do we give money
So
to
that they
our
do the
members?
things they did.
But that's what I'm saying, that you did not even listen to the tape because you were interested in the propaganda value.
The lady is
Look,
a parliamentary
I
candidate.
suspect.
I don't need her to tell me. I saw it in Adaklu.
That people were
You
sharing
were
money.
distributing money. You were distributing
In
money.
fact,
Claiming that every branch executive is a business. That we are giving them loans.
Okay.
We shall call for those loans to be refunded in
Okay,
this
hold
way.
on.
the truth, because it will help you.
So
This so-called money that he claims were distributed.
She said it
he
on
saw
record.
it.
She said it on
Hold on.
At least
Did you
there's one
listen to the
witness.
entirety of
Allow
it?
me.
There's one
I
witness.
did.
Did you listen to
I
it?
listened to the
And you
entire
heard her
thing.
say that she submitted forms,
What forms are these?
application forms.
John,
So
Mr.
that was why she was
Hughes, it was
giving
said
the
in
money.
plain English.
She wasn't giving any money.
Hold on.
Plain English.
She said she was giving 50,000.
Not in any other language you don't
come in,
understand.
Please, I beg you. She was giving 50,000 CDs for.
No, he didn't say 50. He said
50.
She said, I got only 50,000.
Yes. No,
As if 50,000 is
I beg
a
you.
paltry amount
I
of
beg
money.
you. 50,000 for being an aspirant, 50,000 for being an executive. And she mentions other strands of cash.
and then-
Totaling
and then she
300,000.
said, "Oh, her 100,000 I was giving to her."
She gave it back to them.
Now I'm saying that people are in a hard place
Oh,
when they hear some of these things.
wait. But that's what I'm
don't
saying,
you
that
think that it puts
in
the government a
that
bad
tape itself, the lady says that the forms that she got. So I suspect that
Now you're
maybe
brought
it's
into
the-
suspicion.
Of course.
Okay.
Because I did not receive any 100,000 as a candidate.
Okay.
Or nor was I given
nobody
any
gave
50.
you-
No, not at all. But I know that because of the impact of COVID on businesses, the Ghana Enterprise Agency provided some funding to Ghanaian businesses.
Can you say it again? Ghanaian business.
Of course. And people applied.
Right.
And
NBSSI loans.
yes, that
Now
money
GA.
was not distributed. It was actually even transferred through
So
mobile money.
what business did Felicia Tete
I do not
propose?
know. That's why I said let her speak for herself.
Is
But
it,
I'm saying
is
to
it
you,
not in the interest of the NPP party now, with all the conversations going on, people in hardship and people complaining, UPGO, NSS, nursing training, teacher training, for the NPP to step forward and put a closure to this matter?
of course, why not?
So why haven't the party done that?
Oh, but I'm sure that in due course
Why?
there would be
You
a
blocked it
but
in Parliament.
Look, what was brought in Parliament?
You blocked the investigation into these allegations in Parliament.
What
You threw the motion away.
How?
Yes, we
It's
found a motion
unbelievable the kind
to
of
give them the
statements that you
opportunity
make.
to just come up with this evidence. They threw the motion away in Parliament.
You have been in government before. Okay?
Yes,
Public funds
Yes.
is always accounted for.
yes. We wait until
And
that
so-
time, and then
and so-
the
and so-
Auditor General tells
Why
us
don't
that
you allow me to make my point, la?
Bobo, you are confusing me.
Ala-
This-
Ala-
I'm
don't
confusing
go-
you.
don't be
The
confused.
woman's spoke.
You are
The woman
confusing
spoke
yourself.
He's
now
providing-
he's reducing the whole 300,000 to that lady to a form, and he said which form?
But that's
He said
exactly
he's
what she
speculating.
said.
Which
Okay.
form?
That's what she said.
What is that? Which
In
form
that
is that?
very case,
Is it
you can play it.
There's
NDSSI form?
a full tape.
Play it.
Is it NDSSI form?
Play it.
No, did he mention the name of the form?
Okay.
You play it.
Okay, let's
And
make, but,
we'll make a determination
but-
whether she was actually given
but then-
100,000
but then-
or she made reference
But
to
then,
some
but
form.
then,
Please.
well, Kwame, you were saying that the NPP blocked the opportunity in Parliament to get into these matters. Is that what you're suggesting? That
Yes.
you try to table it for
Yes.
the NPP to have an opportunity?
Mr. Hughes, no government had ever had the kind of almost free money, I'm in quote, because part of it are loans, in the space of maybe 3 months in the life of any government. And we're talking about billions, maybe multiple billions of cedis, 20 and above billions of cedis. September to December 2020. And we all saw what they were doing. We are feeding people over a period of time, 3 weeks, we stop. Then the minister comes and says, we fed this number. The finance minister comes and change the number that the minister who actually did the feeding doesn't know the number. The finance minister who was in his office knew the number better. So they said something. So everybody was like, okay. Then you started telling us we're in debt because of COVID. We're in debt because of COVID. Then we are saying that, oh, perhaps you are right. Come and give account. For all you know, in fact, if you spend government money, you don't spend it from your pocket. You spend it through processes. Why don't you just come to Parliament and tell us what you spend? They threw it away that Auditor General should be able to do that. And we are saying that that is not right. We have actually set up committees in Parliament to investigate things even before Auditor General.
I don't understand.
And you say,
look,
his job
too quick to do mischief.
His job
doesn't help anybody.
Okay,
I was going to respond a bit to some of the things.
You will quickly, because Bobo is asking. Let's play the tape, Felicia, the tape of the North Regional MPP quickly.
And I think last month or so, he made another comment. And as usual, people will say that, oh, madam, you are above it, don't talk. But let me tell you, if somebody closes his eyes to damage you, there is nothing like you are above responding to such a person. That one day, I will not take it. I will also have to come out and explain myself. If that makes me a bad leader, fine. But I will have to explain myself. And I know there are descendant people on this platform who will listen and do their own investigations. The COVID fund came. I was given 50,000. Oh. My quota was 50,000 as a regional second vice. Then, who doubles as a parliamentary candidate for Sanargu? I had another 50,000 cedis, making it 100,000. Then the constituency were given, is it 200,000 or so? I can't remember. So I called for, and MCE was given 30,000. I can't remember. Then Chairman was given 20,000, and I think the other executives did 10,000, or was it Chairman was giving 10,000? But I can't remember. So I called them to a meeting. I called the constituency executive to a meeting. And I told them that, fine, for me, I am going to add all the 100,000 that I am entitled to the constituency. Listen, oh, I am handing over all my 100,000 to the constituency money. I didn't ask any executive to add.
This
is deliberate. You have to play it to its logical end.
It's not
because
deliberate.
It is.
Okay, so you want to hear?
Because then you would hear her quite clearly making references to a phone.
Okay, hold on.
Please.
Danny, you have to play it for me. Let's spend the last 2 minutes playing the remainder of the video, please. So that Bobo doesn't say that it's deliberate.
I handed over the forms and everybody to the team, and we went round and we did the disbursement. The next step was, I have taken police station executives' money and I want to spend. That money, my 100,000, not even one that I filled for somebody. I handed over the forms and everybody to the team, and we went round and we did the disbursement. The next step was, I have taken police station executives' money and I want to spend. That money, my 100,000, not even one that I filled for somebody in my house. Not even one that I filled for a member of my team. Secretary, Karamba, Polo, Chairman, they were in charge. After that, their form and everything was not given to me. They sent it straight to regional secretary, and regional secretary sent it to Accra directly. So my brothers, where did I spend the money? When I even added everything, not even a peso I took from it. What kind of propaganda is this?
Felicia Teche there. She's Deputy Vice Chair of the Northern Regional MPP and former NPP parliamentary hopeful for the Sanarigu constituency, ABF was in this constituency. So we played the full tape.
Yes.
It talks about quota,
It talks about giving.
About receiving.
Oh,
she said,
Johnny,
I
hand me
got,
over.
Hold on.
Johnny,
Hold on.
Johnny,
I want us to pick the keywords. She said there's a quota. I got 50,000 as MP aspirant, 50,000 as.
I'm telling you on authority on national TV.
Right.
I didn't get any quota.
Okay. What forms were those? The forms that she talked about.
That's why I'm saying to you
application
that I
forms for the
suspect
loans?
that it's the NBSSI facility that they gave to businesses that have been affected by COVID-19.
Okay.
Of course, individuals who were private businesses, tabletop, were given 1,000 cedis, some 5,000, some 10,000, depending on the nature of the business.
But then this one mentioned that she got the money
I don't
because
have a problem.
she's a candidate.
And I'm saying to you that I was a candidate.
Right. I'm not talking about you.
But
your tape has not come yet.
But there won't be any tape.
So let's talk about the tape.
So that's what I'm saying to you, that let her speak for herself. I don't have an issue with that at all.
But I'm saying that she mentioned she's not a business. Felicia Tete is not a business. She mentioned that she got the money because she's an aspirant, one.
She got
and
money?
number two, 50,000 as an aspirant.
She got a what?
50,000.
No,
she mentioned
50,000.
that she got 50,000 as an aspirant and another 50,000 as a regional executive. And that she put the money together and then gave it to the party. She didn't. So she actually was on a cleansing spree
this is
of
a lady
her image.
who has been accused of taking people's money. That she's done an audio on a platform explaining the entire process of what it is that had transpired, according to her.
Right.
She makes references to being given quota and all sorts of things, including forms.
Right.
That she filled and excluded people from her own household. Yet those have no interest to you. All you are interested in that she was giving money.
No, that's why you have a chance to be speaking now. So ventilate.
But I made reference to the forms before you played it.
No.
That clearly, what she was making reference to was the forms that she had to fill, which she confirmed filling on behalf of people.
What kind of form is this?
And I say that to you that I suspect is the NBSSI cap bus loans that were given to individuals depending on the category that they fell in for support.
But you also,
as a result of
but
the
you also
impact of
heard the lady talking about the fact that she was giving the money based on the fact that
I'm saying to you that I don't have a problem. Let her address it. I'm saying to you that I was a candidate in the election.
Okay.
I did not receive any quota nor were given any money.
And
that is applicable to all my colleagues as far as I know. Look, see, I don't have an issue. I believe in accountability. And if people make statements, they ought to be held accountable for it. By all means, let's do so.
When would the COVID
but to generalize,
when would the COVID accounts be made public? Because that's a conversation that's ongoing.
Look, what is COVID account?
How much you
is
spend?
Is it not part of the public revenues and expenditures that is subject to an audit by the Auditor General?
But we borrowed separately for COVID.
Chief, who borrowed separate? We don't borrow separately for roads. We don't borrow separately for hospitals. Do we account for hospital?
We don't budget for. We didn't budget for COVID. It's a pandemic, like you said. It hit us like a
Absolutely,
thunderbolt.
and we had to look at the entirety of the issues that happened in 2020.
Right.
There were funds that came in to support balance of payments. Correct. There were funds that came in to support specific items, including buying of PPEs and all those kinds of things. I'm saying to you that all of those monies that came were public funds. It came to the consolidated fund. It didn't go into specific private accounts.
I need to.
Every single money that comes into this country's coffers, the law prescribes the account into which it goes.
So
that account is subject to an audit.
Okay.
So if mischievously they sit here and try to play propaganda with COVID account, what do they mean by COVID account?
So in the 2021 budget, the accounting, report that was released by the Auditor General, did they capture this COVID thing you're talking about?
The Auditor General hasn't audited 2020 whatever.
No, 2020. So
has he, the 2020 audit has come out.
COVID funds.
Have you seen the 2020 audit?
It hasn't come out.
No, I haven't seen it.
It hasn't come out yet. Okay.
But if it does, I expect that we include every single.
They are massaging the figure they are massaging the figure.
The auditor general is massaging the
figures. They are massaging the figures.
When you were in government, was that what you were doing?
They are massaging the figures.
That was what you were doing in government. You see, and I heard him talk about National Cathedral. I'm coming.
No. It's only 1 minute.
Why do you do that?
It's like a monologue. He wants to.
What are we talking about?
You can do a press conference and say your thing.
She defended 52 million that had been given to a private individual to go and chop for no work done. Alfred Agbesiwoyomi. And you have the audacity to talk about and money that is being expended to build an asset for our country.
Asset?
Of course it is. And the National Cathedral, is it private? It's an asset.
An asset?
Of course.
And when you awarded a contract
to
listen, when you awarded a contract to the consultant which is not even qualified to practice in this country until just last month that you
why it's only Ghanaian architects who can design buildings in Ghana.
Oh my brother, you are member of parliament.
Yes,
you are aware that if you
Ghanaian architects who can design
buildings in Ghana, if you give a project
please
to a foreigner, you have to comply with Article 1815. Have you forgotten? So if you say you gave it to a foreigner, did you come to Parliament under Article 1815?
Raise the question.
Good.
Okay, go ahead. Listen, let me tell you. Allow him, please.
PURC,
we'll wrap up.
PURC, don't dare us. Listen, this government told us when you pay e-levy, your water problems, road problems, electricity problems,
look at that.
Jobs, everything will be solved.
But
listen. They foisted this onto us. Listen, and they foisted this onto us, and we are paying.
But e-levy is only one month.
Listen. A government that is so insensitive that would award a project for believes that construction of a cathedral is above provision of electricity, to the extent that he calls it priorities of priorities, to the extent that this government doesn't tell us even how much the cathedral will cost. Nobody knows how the procurement process, and indeed, let me tell you, Sir Ajay, just last month qualified to practice architecture in this country.
Right.
So all the contracts you gave him, you gave it to an unqualified company to start with, which is another day you said I should file a question. And then this government continued to pay him huge amounts of money, and the government doesn't see it necessary to use those monies to actually cushion us, the poor people. The poor people in this country. And you tell us that you are thinking of increasing the electricity tariffs.
They shouldn't try you.
They shouldn't try it because they have the money. Nobody should believe in this country that the government doesn't have money. If government doesn't have money, how are they able to pay the 32 million Ghana cedi? How are they able to pay extra 25 million Ghana cedi? Ghana has got money. It's the leaders who decide what to use the money for, and their priority is not to fix your road.
Did you get part of the COVID funds? Did you fill the form as well?
I am very grateful you allowed the tape to be played. You see, when the road minister came to Parliament and said something, and then I responded, he said they shouldn't mind me because I didn't understand what he said. The lady actually didn't speak a local language. He spoke English that at least those who attended Saito can understand. The lady said, as a parliamentary candidate, indeed, she was a parliamentary candidate for a constituency which was not held by the NPP.
Right.
So maybe they have a different arrangement for them. He pegged the whole thing on a form. Listen, a form. But she said, I got a part of the money because I was a parliamentary candidate.
Right.
I got part of the money because I was an executive. Right. She put all of them together and mentioned the man. If you are chairman, you get this. If you are chairman, does NBS listen? Does NBSSI give money to businessmen based on their party hierarchy? I'm asking you. Does NBSSI allocate money for businesses based on party hierarchy? So you are getting more money because you are part of NPP. And is it the case that political parties were asked to bring businesses? Okay. How come it is NBSSI have 10 NPP regional constituency and branch executives to their officials giving them form? I can tell you, Adaklu constituency never had a form from NBSSI. We never disbursed any money. These monies we are talking about are the reasons Ghanaians don't believe you that we should pay any extra money. Okay. Because you have enough money and you squandered it. And let me tell you, listen, all those who misconducted themselves under the AFRC and under the 31st December were punished. You saw it. The record shows they were punished. who has never been punished are the litany of people who have been killed in this country. In the democratic dispensation, 7 of them at polling station under President Akufo-Addo, the so-called human rights lawyer. Not a single person is in court today. Tell me that there's not bigger atrocities under this government than the AFRC.
Thank you.
I will defend June 4 because and condemn all the excesses.
We have to go.
But I'll tell you, the path of the growth of this country, which we call Ghana today, was burst by those bold decisions we took, and we actually can condemn all the atrocities. But AFRC's vision is better than Akufo-Addo's vision for Ghana.
Thank you. Bobo, quickly, did your constituency or constituents who are business people get NBSSI loans?
Yes, I believe that some of my constituents got NBSSI
that
loans.
You know of?
Well, not personally, but I know that NBSSI set up offices across the country, and they distributed forms. People applied. Some received, some did not receive. It's a matter of public record. Okay. And you see,
ask me the same question.
Okay. Did you also get some?
I have never even heard about it. And listen, somebody just sent me a message saying that
Johnny,
they said that it was okay. You go and apply online. When he applied, he's still waiting for the disbursement today.
Oh, how?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I can do it too. Yeah, he's here. He's still waiting for the disbursement today. My brother, let's not kid ourselves.
But of course,
the money was not meant for my brother. The money was not. Look, I mean, yesterday was Sunday. The money was not meant for businesses. It was meant to be distributed to NPP people. You can do all the rationalization. They chopped they've chopped the money. They chopped the money.
But
Governor Kwame Agboja is a member of parliament for the Adaklu constituency in the Volta region. Thank you very much, Adaklu Messiah, for coming. And Lawyer Andrew Ejapa Mesa, please tell that for me. Lawyer Andrew Ejapa Mesa is a member of parliament for the second D constituency in the Western region. Happy birthday to Joseph Abaka, Commander 1 of the Central Regional Directorate of the elections of the NDC. He's with the monitoring and evaluation team. Also, happy birthday to Nana Iya Esiedwa. This is from Pablo, your father. Happy birthday to Queen Cell of Adentan constituency. This is from Mr. RW. El Chamano, good morning to you. Ajana 2. Happy birthday also to Benes Akologo, head of marketing at Metro Mass Transit and CEO. This is from the Labix Inso Akapari, Akofa Kujetu, and all the family. Happy birthday also to Rhoda. You have a blessed birthday. This is from Kelvin. Happy birthday to Atu Abasa. This is from Randy Abose. Happy birthday to Brigadier General Alfred Issa Wuni, retired. You are, today is your birthday. This is from the Major, Venerable Major Ebenezer Ni Adela, my father, who is also retired. It says, Brigadier, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Akos. Today is your birthday, or Akosia Michi of Michi's Pub. It's from Michael. It's your birthday today. Bobo, 2 messages for you. It says, Johnny, what is Bobo saying? Were some of the excesses of June 4, there were, but these actions were never authorized by the AFRC. Sergeant Ajay Boydu, who led those fringe actions himself, was arrested and dealt with, went to Secondary Market to personally apologize to the 2 market women who were assaulted by the Akatapore boys, who were dismissed from the armed forces in the marketplace instantly, where had the booklets of CD. What was that? Okay, that's Ambassador Sampia. Listen, that Fred Agbenyo says, Johnny, what at all is my brother Bobo defending? The lady spoke English and all Latin. She was given 50,000 as a vice chairman, another 50,000 as a parliamentary candidate. He should credit us with some. Well, I can't use that word. Sorry about that.
I'm making an appeal to you.
We have.
Can you host Dr. Baumia to speak to us?